Hello, everybody. It's early Monday morning. Cup of mud, as my buddy Sean says. I want to share with you a little story about this past weekend. It was Father's Day weekend, and my family went on a little trip up to Mansfield, Missouri. This trip was not without incident, and I'll get to that. Mansfield, Missouri is in the Ozark Mountains, and the roads are so curvy and wind through the mountains so much they're more crooked than a diamondback rattlesnake. Mansfield's claim to fame is it has the home of Laura Ingalls Wilder, and the television show series Little House on the Prairie was based on her book. We went up there for my nephew's wedding, and my 19-year-old son Nathan played all the music for the wedding on his Taylor guitar. Here's a little clip of that where the best man, the groom's brother, walks in and Nathan's playing the music. When the wedding was over, we stayed to help clean up, put up chairs, tables, decorations, and all that. And then we had about a 15-minute drive to the house that we had rented, which was large enough to sleep my party of 10 people. I followed my son-in-law, and Nathan followed me. Now, these roads were so curvy, and my son-in-law was carrying the mail, as they say. I barely could keep up with him. And Nathan couldn't keep up with me. So we all arrived at the house and we started unloading luggage. And then Nathan pulled up about 5 minutes later in his pickup truck. And he started helping us carry everything in. He still had on all his dress clothes from the wedding. He had on his suspenders and his boutonniere and everything. Well, we're inside the house. My son-in-law came in and said, "There's someone outside that needs to talk to Nathan." And it's a police officer. What happened next reminds me of this Waylon Jennings song.
I'm for law and order, the way that it should be. This song's about the night they spent protecting you from me. Someone called us outlaws in some old magazine. New York set a posse down like I ain't never seen. Don't y'all think this outlaw dip's done got out of hand? What started out to be a joke, but I don't understand.
The very next thing that went through my mind was, thank God we got Nathan's driver's license renewed. This is my Arkansas driver's license. About 2 weeks ago, Nathan left Arkansas, headed to Nashville, Tennessee to do a 2-month residency at a Baptist church there, helping their youth minister. He was almost to Nashville when we realized, doing some insurance paperwork, that his driver's license had been expired for 4 months. So this past Friday, he came home to go do the music for his cousin's wedding. He went and had his license renewed on Friday. This incident happened the next night. We walked out on the front porch to this house, and there were so many squad cars with their roof lights on that it looked like the Griswold home at Christmas time. They had the whole neighborhood lit up. I looked at Nathan and I said, "Son, what have you done? They brought out the whole damn precinct plus a state trooper for you." He said, "I don't know." He said, "I have no idea what I did. I don't think I did anything wrong." So we walked out there, and the chief officer in charge of the scene asked Nathan, he said, "Do you drive this pickup truck?" He said, "Yes, sir, I do." He said, "Well, we have a report of a road rage incident." And Nathan was just dumbfounded. He said, "Road rage?" He said, "Yes, someone said that you tried to run someone off the road." Nathan said, "There's no way that happened." He said, I need to see your driver's license, your proof of insurance, and your vehicle registration. So Nathan went to get that, and I told this officer, I said, there's got to be a mistake. You got to have the wrong vehicle because there's no way this happened. He said, we have a report of this vehicle and that license plate. I said, my son just finished his first year of college studying to be a music minister. He's a music major, and I've never seen him get upset or lose his temper over anything, really. There's some kind of mistake. I said, I want to know who's the reporting party and what are they saying happened. Well, Nathan came back around the truck with all the information, and as he was walking around, he said, if y'all are going to take me to jail, can I at least change clothes first? Well, these officers did not crack a smile, and I thought, uh-oh. So he took the information, and another officer was on the phone. These guys were everywhere. You would have thought he robbed a bank. But he looked at Nathan and said, you hadn't been drinking, have you? And we all laughed because we said, look, there was no alcohol served at this wedding. This wasn't like the one Jesus was at. The groom's father is the pastor who married these two, and Nathan played the music for the thing, and right after it, we came here. So he said, I can tell, I'm close enough to tell that I don't detect any alcohol and your pupils are so dilated, I know you hadn't had anything to drink. Well, the other officer came back and talked to the officer that was in charge of the scene. And then he came to us and said, the dispatcher got her details wrong. It's not a road rage incident. Someone was following you and reported that you were waving all over the road and almost ran off the shoulder. And Nathan said, well, that could have happened. And as God is my witness, this is how the conversation went. My wife was standing right beside me. I said, now, road rage I couldn't buy. Piss poor driving, okay, because he's genetically predisposed to it because he drives just like his mother. And she said, I admit it, I'm the world's worst driver. He gets it from me. And Nathan said, I am a bad driver. He said, I probably was swerving around in all these curves. And he said, but when I wanted to pull over and find out how to get here, he said, I stopped on the side of the road at a pull-in and looked up Google Maps to find out how to get here. I wasn't on my phone or anything. So the officers talked it over, and the officer in charge of the scene looked at the state trooper, and he said, are you good with this? And the state trooper said, yep. He got in his squad car, turned off the lights, and drove away. And one by one, each one of them turned off their lights and drove off. And the officer in charge was standing there, and I looked at Nathan and said, son, drive better. And the officer said, yep, you need to drive better. So the moral of this story is, if you're not a very good driver, especially in the winding hills, drive better, particularly if you're going through Mansfield, Missouri.